Good afternoon. My name is Andres Ambrosi, and I'm a solution architect with Perspectium. And today I want to take you through the Observer application. So the Observer application is a web-based performance monitoring application that collects large amounts of data points from ServiceNow over time. These data points have been categorized into 95 out-of-the-box performance metrics that we provide you. The performance metrics provide insight into ServiceNow performance and trends that lead to performance degradation, which will eventually create an outage. Our goal with Observer is not to tell you that there is an outage, because that's something you'll find out soon enough, and also ServiceNow will let you know about that. But we want to make you aware of situations well before that outage that will potentially lead to an outage, and so you can track down the source of those problems before you do experience that outage. With Observer, you will see specific reasons, such as changes you've made to ServiceNow or changes made by ServiceNow, and the point in time when those changes start to affect performance. Observer will also track non-trendable data like system events that are important to your organization, such as failed logins, system upgrades, anything else you choose to track, and correlate them with the performance metrics to give you a more complete picture of your ServiceNow performance. So that the Observer application has a number of different common use cases: monitor, trend ServiceNow performance, detect and predict issues with production, determine root cause, lower mean time to repair, and so on. We also find that with the Observer application, our customers are able to predict the impact of change, as I was referring to before, changes you might have made or ServiceNow's made, supporting go-live decisions. So has your code been written efficiently? Is it going to take ServiceNow to its knees, or is this actually going to work as you had intended? And detecting potential outages. Again, we want to avoid those outages to begin with. So today I want to take you through the Observer application. And when I click on this tab here, I've got the Observer UI up and running. We've got a number of tabs across the top here. We have Monitor, Trends, Server, and User Experience. And today I'm going to focus on one area of the Observer application, Trend. What Trend provides you is a way to see different performance metrics graphed across one chart, so you can visually see and correlate different performance metrics to see if there's an issue. We've got a couple of options here under the Trend tab. One of those is I can click here and I can pick a starting date range. I can also say I want to see data over a period of time, let's say a week instead of just one day. I also come over here to this drop down, and what this represents are trend groups. This is the ability to provide you as a customer a grouping of these performance metrics, and you can create additional trend groups. So in this case, we want to take a look at average user experience. When I select this, I'm presented with 3 different performance metrics: server response time, averaged; client browser time; client network time. Now, you're free to add additional performance metrics, such as I might think that SQL response time might be important. And so I'm going to go ahead and add that to my graph. And I'm going to go ahead and re-render this chart. So now I can see here that while we've got a slight upward tick in client network time, we also saw we had a peak in this SQL response time, and it's dropping. But we have increases both in server and also in browser time. Okay. Now, in this chart, I've got a couple of options. I can overlay additional events or other flagged activities or non-trendable data that I was referring to earlier. So I can click down here and I can say, well, show me high alerts if I have any, show me any low alerts, anything that I'm following, and also any security. And you have the ability to add additional flags here. And I've selected 2. I've got security and high alerts. And currently, none of those have any flags on my particular chart. As I take my slider over here and I drag it back into time, I can see that my chart starts changing. Okay, and I'm going to bring it back to the point where I'm going to go back in time a little bit, where I do have some of these flags appearing on my chart. So you can see now that as I have changes being made to my chart and I can see different transactions appearing going up or down, I also see that we've got some high alerts, such as an impersonation that was started. We consider that a high alert. That's something we configured for our demo. It might be important to you or not. We also have a security alert here as well. We also have impersonation starting earlier on as well. So these are just different flags that you can overlay onto your trend chart to see if there's any correlation with the average user experience and any system events that have occurred at any point in time. Okay. I also can manipulate this chart with any of my zoom capabilities here. So if I want to see this all over in one day, I can click that and so on. And then I can also come here and I can change my date and times in more specific ways. Okay. So something else we also provide you is the ability not only to track performance metrics that we've come up with, but also if there are certain performance metrics that you might be interested in that we hadn't thought of. So one of those is the ability to follow a transaction. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and clear out my attributes right now. And what we've given you is within ServiceNow, you navigate to ServiceNow, and if I come over to ServiceNow here, I can come over to the Perspectium application, and under Observer, I've got some options, and one of those is I can follow a transaction. I have started 2 of those. I am following a URL keyword, which is called track, and that's been started. And I'm also following user David Liu, and that's also been started. So these are going to generate certain transactions as they navigate around ServiceNow. It might be David Liu has been calling us, kind of saying that performance hasn't been very good, or he's experiencing certain anomalies in his experience. And also, we're also testing a certain application that we've added that track URL keyword to as well. So I can come over here and I can take a look at all my follows, and I can see, for instance, that I've got follow and here I've got track. So I can go ahead and see, for instance, I can click this button and I can include all of the data around that track keyword. Okay, so there's a performance metric that I came up with myself. I included it in the ServiceNow application, and now Observer is watching it. And I can see that I've got, again, the ability to overlay this onto my chart. I've been performing certain actions here with that track transaction. And I can see how my chart changes. I also can come here, and I'm going to clear it out one more time. And let's take a look at what we've been doing with David Liu. And again, I can click this button and include all similar attributes, and I redraw my chart. And David really hasn't been too busy, but I can again see some information here with my events, along with what he might have been doing around network time and so on, client response time. Okay, so what I've shown you today is just a little bit of the Observer technology focused on the performance metrics and the ability to manipulate the UI to be able to see certain performance metrics like I was showing you before. We